Good morning, everyone. So today we will discuss the food security, economic globalization, poverty, and inequality. So let's first tackle the food security. It is defined by the United Nations Committee on World Food Security. Means that all people at all times have physical, social, and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their food preferences and dietary needs for an active and healthy life. So when we say sufficient, ibig sabihin ho nun sapat. Kasi nga, ang pangangailangan ng tao, hindi dapat sumobra, hindi dapat magkulang, kung hindi sapat lang. Second, safe. Pag ang isang pagkain is unsafe para sa human beings, it can affect the health and it can spread diseases. So, dapat kung safe ang drinking water natin, dapat safe din ang kinakain natin. Alright? Kaya nga may kasabihan tayo na what you eat is, what you eat is, it means who you are. Alright? If junk food ang kinakain mo, meaning to say, you are also a junk. Pag healthy ang kinakain ng isang tao, ibig sabihin, healthy din ang tao. Alright, next, we have nutritious food. So, in order to have a healthy life or healthy living, human beings should eat nutritious food, such as organic food na tipong wala siyang chemical. Hindi siya junk foods. Good for our body, mind, para magkaroon tayo ng healthy na pangangatawan. Bakit kailangan nutritious? Kasi pag hindi nutritious or hindi sapat ang nutrition na dumadaloy sa katawan natin, may malnourished na mga or tipong makakakuha tayo ng malnourishment. Okay? At iniiwasan yun ng UN na may mga malnutrition na ay malnourished na mga tao. Kasi nga na hindi sila nakakakain ng sapat, safe, at hindi sila nakakain ng nutritious food. Alright. Pag sinabing dietary needs for an active and healthy life, sa isang tao kasi importante yun. Why? Para makapag-isip ng maayos. At the same time, makapag-trabaho ng maayos. In order to help the growing or the progress of the economy itself. Kasi, pag hindi tayo kumakain ng safe, sapat, at healthy na pagkain, ang isip natin is hindi tama. Kagaya lang yan, gutom kayo. Makakapagtrabaho ba kayo ng maayos? Hindi. Pag naman sobra kayong busog, nakakapagtrabaho kayo ng maayos? Malamang hindi. So, dapat ang kinakain lang ng isang tao ay sapat lang in order to be active, to be productive. In that way, you are helping yourself and the economic growth. Alright? So next, what is the importance of food security? So food security exists when all people have physical and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their dietary needs for an active and healthy life. The term food security is being used more frequently in recent years, with the government putting greater emphasis on its important. So, importante talaga ang food security. Why? Pag hindi sinisecure ng government ang pagkain, magkakaroon ng shortage. And when shortage strike, ibig sabihin, hindi sapat o kayang ma-provide ng government ang isang food, for example, bigas. Pag hindi na sapat ang supply ng bigas dito sa Pilipinas, the government gagawa kagad sila ng aksyon. Imports of rice from Thailand, China, and other places para ma-secure ang pagkain natin. Bigas is number 1 basic needs natin, no? Kasi hindi naman nakakakain talaga yung Pinoy ng tinapay-tinapay na lang sa buong araw. Maglalo na tayo mga Pilipino, naghahanap talaga tayo ng bigas. Alright. Economic globalization. So this is already the economic globalization. So we will tackle again the economic globalization because kasama siya sa topic natin na itatackle. Alright, let's proceed to economic globalization. Refers to the increasing interdependence of the world economies as a result of the growing scale of cross-border trade of commodities and services, flow of international capital, and wide and rapid spread of technologies. We already tackled this one. It's just a recap, guys, okay? Next. The globalization is the growth on a worldwide scale. It is the process of integration and international influence of economies and cultures. In the example of globalization below, you'll see that it's not only an exchange of goods, but also an exchange of ideas and even anti-terrorist protections. The more technology advances and the more transportation improves, the more global outlets are revealed. Let's take a look at the many ways in which the world is advanced by methods of globalization. So number 1 example for this one is the multinational corporation operate on a global scale with satellite offices and branches in numerous locations. So this means multinational companies can stay open virtually 24 hours a day and service customer no matter where they are located. So under the economic globalization, the example is the multinational corporation. Natakil na rin natin ito. Yung mga kumpanya, especially yung mga big na mga kumpanya na merong mga satellite offices. What do we mean by satellite offices? This means nagmo-monitor 24/7 a day or 24 hours monitored kung ano ang nangyayari in the global or sa buong mundo. Meron po yan, okay? Nakikita po tayo 24/7 if merong terorista, nabanggit nga dito, protection sa anti-terrorist, okay? So, bigla na lang sasabog dyan. Ang unang makakasagap nun is yung parang camera kasi yung satellite sa taas. And merong customer service na nag-ooperate 24 hours. It's either that's 911 or the call center na nagbibenta ng produkto mismo. So, for at this moment, especially we are facing pandemic, wag natin nilalang lang ang mga call center agent, okay? Bakit po? Sila ang nagdala ng ekonomiya as of this moment. As you can observe na maraming pumapasok ngayon sa industriya ng call center kasi halos doon lang kumukuha ang ating gobyerno ng taxes, nandoon ang trabaho kasi 24/7 a day ang trabaho under call center. Alright, next. Outsourcing can add to the economic development of a struggling country, bringing much needed job. If a powerful organization is able to outsource its call center to a developing country, that creates a new class of job for people who may not have had that opportunity otherwise. Alright, in regards to the second example, this is yung mga malalaking kumpanya na kaya namang i-operate, for example For example, last 2019, I was hired September 2019 at Saitel. And I worked at Saitel under the account of Caesar's Palace. Familiar kayo kay Caesar's Palace? Caesar's Palace is the biggest hotel or company na mga hotel. Hindi lang siya meron sa Amerika, meron siya sa different parts of the state. Now, in order to introduce the hotel, although it's already luxury, the company itself hire, ibig sabihin naga-promote sila ng mga employee o tipong kuha sila ng employee to be their call center agent or call center representative to introduce their products. Okay? Ako, nagtatrabaho ko dati sa Caesar's Palace and ang main office namin is Las Vegas. I was handling Las Vegas, Caesar's Palace, lahat ng mga hotel ni Caesar's Palace under Vegas, and kay Atlantic City. Yun. Dalawa ang lugar. So, malayo na yun siya, diba? Malayo siya sa Pilipinas. Pero ang mga Pilipino ngayon ang kinukuha. Not because we are magaling, but because that powerful organization or company outsource some employees. Number 1, magaling ang Pilipino sa English. Pangalawa, mababa ang salary compare sa mag-hire sila sa sarili nilang state or sa sarili nilang lugar. So much lower ang gagastusin nila, expenses nila in regards to giving salary. Kasi tayo dito, ang minimum wage natin is 380 ang araw. Pero sa kanila kasi sa states, oras ang binibilang. So, tingin nyo yan. Siyempre, kung ako ang may ganong malaking kumpanya, doon na lang ako sa Pilipino. Makapagbigay pa ako ng trabaho at the same time, makasave pa yung kumpanya ko. Okay? Ayos? Alright. Okay. Now, we will talk about poverty. Number 1 problem in economy is poverty. We all know that. Okay? Poverty is a state or condition in which a person or community lacks the financial resources and essential of a minimum standard of living. Poverty means that the income level from employment is so low that basic human needs can't be met. So, ang poverty, hindi lang po yan yung gutom o yung walang bahay. At the same time, ang poverty strikes yung mga employed na mga tao, pero yung mga salary nila or mga wages nila is grabe kababa na even yung mga needs natin as human being hindi na natin o hindi na ma-encounter because of this poverty. Now, there are 10 common root causes of poverty. Number 1 is lack of good jobs or job growth. 2 is lack of good education. 3 is the welfare conflict, weather or climate change, social injustice, lack of food and water, lack of infrastructure, lack of government support, lack of good health care, and the high cost. Alright. So, nakikita nyo sa top 1 kagad ng poverty is the good job. Okay? Hindi yan good job na pinapatay ha. Yan yung good job na maalwas, matama na trabaho, sapat na trabaho, o nababagay doon sa pinagraduatean mo na trabaho. Kasi, as of this moment, lahat ng graduate, especially in education, nagiging sales lady na lang siya sa Masway. Nagiging sales lady siya sa kaya mo to o kaya mo. Okay? So, kailangan naka-inline ang trabaho mo sa pinagtapos mo ng pag-aaral. That is considered as good job. Now, second one sa 10 common root causes of poverty is the lack of education. Yan ang sinasabi na kailangan ang government is mag-invest sa magandang edukasyon. Okay? Bakit? Alam natin na ang diploma ang susi sa success. Not only in every individual, but also in the economy itself. Youth of today's may be the future of the country or the nation itself. Pag ang youth is hindi nabigyan ng magandang edukasyon or ang youth is hindi grinab ang opportunity na may maganda siyang edukasyon, then ang economy will decline. Why? Imbis na makatulong sila sa progress or development ng economy, magiging pabigat o burden sila ng pag-unlad kasi nga nandun papasok si poverty. Alright? Warfare or conflict. So, number one root cause ay third root cause din yung mga gera, conflict between the countries or nations kasi mag-i-stop doon yung ekonomiya. Hindi man pwedeng pumasok ka sa trabaho habang sila nagagera, habang may chaos, habang may terror. Hindi pwedeng pumasok sa trabaho, tamaan ka dyan ng bala. So, pag ang tao nawala ng trabaho, kargo sila ng government, then the economy will fail. Right? Especially this pandemic, yung previous talaga na lockdown, marami ang nawalan ng trabaho. Marami ang hindi nakapaghanda dahil walang savings. Ngayon, nawalan ng trabaho. So, sino ang tipong nagsalo ng lahat ng problema? Ang government itself. And we all know, we human beings is part of government. Not only the president is the part of government, the senators, the mayor, and the governors. Tayong citizen o Filipino citizen is part of our government. Kaya wag nyo sabihin, ay, ang gobyerno kasi ang may kasalanan yan. Hindi nyo alam, kasama kayo sa gobyerno. And this pandemic is part of conflict. Kasi nag-stop lahat ng mga establishments, stop lahat ng projects. Ibig sabihin, walang trabaho. And it is part of conflict. Now, next is the weather or climate change. Bakit kaya kasama si 10 common root ng causes si climate change? Alright. Pag sinabi kasi natin climate change, nagbabago ang panahon. Alam naman natin, tinagalog lang, nagbabago yung panahon. Pero isa ito sa driving tools, especially when we are talking about agriculture. Right? So, pagpabago-bago ang panahon, ang mga nasa agriculture sector is hindi nila ma-achieve yung tipong, kunyari, dapat tag-ulan ngayon. Ganito ang pananim. Biglang tumag-init. So, hindi, parang masasayang lang yung pinagtanim nila. And that is one of yung magkukos ng food security, na tipong hindi na sapat ang food kasi nga because of this climate change. Now, weather naman, dating ang bagyo, nasalanta ng bagyo, and do you think nakatulong sa ekonomiya noon? Hindi. Alright. Next, social injustice. So, social injustice is hindi pantay-pantay, hindi fair ang community natin. Whether we like it or not, we will like it, na alam naman natin lahat na hindi talaga fair ang society natin these days. Ang mahirap ay mahirap. At ang mayaman ay mayaman. Tanggapin natin yan. At ang isa sa susi para hindi ka manatiling maging mahirap is to have that good education that you can found on number 2. Alright? Next. Lack of food and water. Paano ba naman ka makakaroon ng food and water kung wala ka namang sapat na sinisweldo? So, part ka talaga ng mahirap kung wala kang food and water. Next is lack of infrastructures. Yan na yung tipong bahay. Kung wala kang bahay, ibig sabihin mahirap ka. Which is supposedly government will provide, hindi man libreng pabahay, yung long-term na payment ng pabahay. At the same time, naisip ko lang din, at the same time, aside sa magbibigay sila ng bahay, magbibigay na rin sana ang gobyerno ng trabaho. Kasi paano mababayaran nyo ng tao ang long-term payment ng pabahay kung walang trabaho ang isa sa pamilya na lilipat doon, di ba? So, it should be with bahay at with trabaho. Wag na yung pera kasi nga may trabaho na nga, may bahay na nga. Sagad-sagad. Alright, next. Lack of government support. Ito na yung part ng infrastructure. Para sa akin, part siya ni infrastructure. Okay? Usually, dito sa Pilipinas, pag ang sinusuportahan lang talaga ng gobyerno is talaga ang mahihirap lang. Bakit kaya mahihirap? Kasi nga, ang mahihirap sa iba kasi kaming mahihirap, wala naman kami talagang pambili. Okay, yan ang mali na paniniwala. Bakit mahirap lang ang kayang tulungan ng gobyerno? Dahil nandoon ang boto sa mahihirap. Okay, gets? Kaya napapansin ninyo lahat ng halos tulong nasa mahihirap, wala ka man lang nabalitaan na tinulungan yung mayaman. Kasi nga, number one reason, hidden agenda ng politiko, nandun lahat ng boto sa mahihirap. Next is lack of good healthcare. Para sa akin, naglalak talaga ang good healthcare, especially pag walang pondo under health. Right? Marami naman tayong facilities dito sa Philippines, kagaya ng mga libreng bakuna, yung mga libreng injection, kaso minsan binubulsa ng mga buaya na politiko. Kaya may mga lacking. Wala naman sanang halos problema sa infrastructure, food, water, and healthcare. Kung hindi lang ipapasok sa bulsa ng mga buayang politiko. Right? Dito sa Pilipinas, nakikita ko naman every barangay may health center na every bakuna libre. Kaso may nakalang pondo, ang pondo na yon nilalagay sa bulsa. Kaya din siya naging number one root cause of poverty. Because dapat nilagay dito sa number 11, greediness. Okay? Alam nyo yung greediness? I-search nyo yung greediness na ano. And then number 10 is high cost. Ano ang sinisweldo? Kulang pa kasi mahal ang bilihin ngayon. Pag mahal ang bilihin, dapat tumaas naman kahit papaano yung sahod. Alright, next. We will talk about the last one. The economic inequality. So, pag may mahirap, meron talagang inequality sa ekonomiya. Is the unequal distribution of income and opportunity between different groups in society. It is a concern in almost all countries around the world, and often people are trapped in poverty with a little change to climb up the social ladder. So, there are 3 types of inequality. 1 is income inequality, 2 is pay inequality, and 3 is wealth inequality. So, when we talk about income inequality, ito yung mga income or salary na hindi pantay-pantay. Number 1, bakit hindi pantay-pantay? Maaari sa posisyon. Pangalawa, kung regular ka ba or hindi. Pangatlo, ay yung tipong masipag ka ba o tamad. Alright? Kaya doon papasok si inequality. Hindi naman kasi pwede na equal kayo na ang posisyon niya is vice president, samantalang ikaw regular employee lang. Hindi naman din siguro fair enough if ikaw masipag, ang isang tamad, pero parehas pa rin kayo ng sweldo. Alright? Next, pay inequality. When we talk about pay inequality, it's the same with the income. Pero ito kasi, papasok dito si kontraktor na hindi mga regular At the same time, nadidelay yung mga sweldo nila or wages. So, it is considered as inequality kasi nga, sila ang halos hindi priority. Sad to say. Alright. Next, wealth inequality. Okay. Para sa akin naman,